All right.
All right, folks. Today joining me, Paul Keating. You may know him as the guy that never wears a shirt. He is, in many ways, the man that we wish Robert Breedlove was. Uh, Paul, I had somebody send me an Instagram video of Robert Breedlove, and I was following him for about, I don't know, maybe 3 hours, and my feed was just filled with Breedlove slop, and I just couldn't do it. I had to unfollow him. It was unbelievable. But how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. That's hilarious. You bring that up. Yeah, man. I mean, part of me is like, oh, dude, he's playing the Instagram game, shirtless, freaking heavily edited photos on the beach with jeans. It's the game he's playing. Yeah, man. I'm doing great.
Are you accusing him of having AI muscles?
No, I'm not. No, that guy. I mean, I think he's natty. He's just a freaking tank. I got to meet him in real life. He's definitely a tank.
Yeah. Um. So how's Costa Rica right now?
Hot, but it's great. Got some waves this morning. The Bitcoin jungle is thriving. It's not just marketing. It's uh, it's really cool. And then there's been a bunch of people from Nostr and obviously the Bitcoin world that have come down and been making their pilgrimage. I get like stopped, like, hey, here to check it out. Nice to see you. I've seen you on the screen. So it's cool to see people getting down here and mixing it up.
So tell me about the jungle. What's happening down there? I know a little bit about it, but not a ton.
Cool. Well, let's see. So maybe started around 2021. Um, there was a farmer's market, and it's annoying to go get cash. A lot of the vendors only accept cash or what's called SynPay, which is like basically a Costa Rican Venmo. So for foreigners, they didn't accept card, and the guy who started it all identified a problem, and Bitcoin as a potential solution. He whipped up an app, and a bunch of vendors started accepting Bitcoin. And the guy who whipped up the app promised to cash him out at the end and would cash out the vendor so they could basically accept Bitcoin risk free. And it's just kind of grown from there. Um, Restaurants all over the place, taxis. There's within the app now you can cash out to the local fiat electronically through that thing I called SynPay, basically Costa Rican Venmo. So now there's just vendors all over the place that accept Bitcoin. It's just like not even that special, even though it does feel like magic every time you buy a coconut with Bitcoin. Um, but yeah, and then there's some people moving down here. It's like this natural. It's all kind of decentralized and organic. Like just kind of happened. And actually, I made a whole movie about it that's done now too that we're going to show shortly. And it's kind of like this naturally forming network state down here. You love to see it.
Very cool. I saw you post about the movie. It looks like you're working with Alana, who did Dirty Coin. Is that correct?
Yeah, we didn't work with her, but I just got to meet her in Austin last week,
Okay.
and I watched her film, which was epic.
So, what's special about Costa Rica? It sounds like, based on your accent, you speak English correctly. You speak American.
Yes.
What? Why Costa Rica? Why not for say Austin, Texas?
Like for me, the only reason I stayed down here is I just love surfing, and that was like my north star. Just hey, if I was already a Bitcoin bazillionaire, if we were already living in hyper Bitcoinization, where would I be? What would I be doing? And I just kind of ran that thought experiment when I was driving down here, and I pretty much landed on I would just be surfing warm water waves with cool people. And Costa Rica happens to have warm water waves and a lot of cool people around. So that's what kept me here. But also just kind of people returning to the land. It's a really abundant country. There's no military. It's just kind of a special vibe here. It's been attracting tourists for a while, so it's maybe a little bit more built up than El Salvador, Nicaragua, and neighboring countries. It's just abundant, man. A lot of rain, a lot of water. Grow things year round. Pretty self-sustainable place. Like it's an abundance, and there's a lot of apocalypse doom preppers, kind of low key here, But um, yeah, it's an amazing place to be.
It's attracted a lot of expats. It's
Yeah,
I've been to Costa Rica. It seems like it's a very comfortable spot to live if you are an English speaking expat. But there's communities of people from Europe, from all over the world, a lot of Western countries, Germans, French people, Canadians. Uh, it's pretty
No,
wild.
100%. Yeah, really is wild. It's a hodgepodge of people, and all of them have kind of an interesting story of how they ended up down there, and it's definitely fun.
Absolutely. Well, this is the first year that Maxi Madness has come to Noster, and I don't think any of us knew what to expect. And at this point, I would say it's been a great success. I'm very thankful to the Primal team for making this happen. Uh, how has it been for the Primal team? You know, what are your impressions of it? You know, I've got Avi Burra telling me that it seems like Maxi Madness has revitalized the Noster ecosystem a little bit. I'm also, you know, seeing a lot of crash outs of people claiming it's the worst thing that ever happened to Noster. So I think there's kind of like split opinions on it. What are your impressions?
Well, the crash outs and the fun and the uniqueness of it all. So, in case you didn't know, on Noster, we're voting with our sats. So the minimum vote is 21 sats, and the maximum is 21,000. And it's so this is like this unique voting mechanism that doesn't exist in any other social media that I'm aware of. And we literally whipped this up just in time for Maxi Madness. It's kind of a lot of work, and we let it go. And for Bitcoin's like at this point like infamous Maxi Madness. So I had no idea how it was going to go. So it's been fun watching, knowing that we've been building this for a while and see it come into real life and watching people's reactions, positive, negative, watching the little bugs, the errors. But man, I don't know, voting on these things, it feels like magic. You with this, your magic internet money, voting on this protocol that's decentralized, like basically everything Web3 was theorized to be, in my opinion. Uh, it's all happening. It's coming together. So, I mean, and just now watching the Final Four, that was absolutely insane. I mean, you guys have this on Predix, and there's money at stake, and there's money flowing for the votes. And we basically found out that people figured out a way to maybe hack it a little bit, creating fake accounts and sending 21,000 sats, the max, voting for their champion. But good to see local boy, Noster native Rev Hodl just continuing his Cinderella story.
Yeah, both the participants in the finals are both Cinderella stories. Noah Grumman actually has a bunch of
Yeah.
songs recorded where she sings metal songs as a Disney princess. So I think she's a good Cinderella. She's kind of an actual real life Cinderella in some ways. But Rev
Did you
Hodl.
see? Did you
Okay.
see Noah's song about with today on the piano?
Yes.
That was great. What'd she say? Like, except Odell. I forget exactly what she said, but yeah, she was making fun of Odell not moving on to the finals.
Yeah, that was wonderful. We all like to fade Odell.
Oh
It's
yeah,
I think it's a favorite pastime of everybody. He's a long time respected Bitcoin podcaster, and we just like like to twist his knobs a little bit if possible. And it was great to see her doing that.
yeah. And that whole video she made was insane, man. I literally thought it was AI, but no, she did the whole thing. That's awesome. The Maxi Madness license plate,
Oh
or the
yeah,
40 hours per week, or what was it? Yeah.
yeah. She's next level. She's pretty unreal. It's cool. She's coming to Vegas and she's going to be performing at the Noster event.
Oh, dope.
Uh,
I didn't know that.
yeah, so if anybody's going, you'll probably get to see her perform the Maxi Madness theme song live if you go, and that'll be fun.
Let's go. I'll be there.
Um, but yeah, Rev Hodl is it's been fun because I'm in some group chats with Rev Hodl, and he has a lot of grassroots support. He has quickly become a Noster favorite. he in many ways is a pioneer. Uh he's a great guy. I mean, I've known him for a long time. He likes to sell lamb and other things, and he's been engaged in the circular economy here in the American Empire. Absolute incredible guy, and I just think it's super fun to see the support for him on Noster, and he's also a very very prolific meetup organizer. Um, but you know, have you been watching the Twitter polls at all?
Not as closely as Noster, but I mean, I just realized here, I think Yellow made it to the final four, right?
Yep.
And then yeah, two people I've never heard of are in Twitter.
Yeah, there's a lot of
In the finals.
controversy, a lot of crash outs about it. The two um, people in the finals are the hosts of the Hell Money podcast, and they're both big Ordinals people. And so the Ordinals people came in and steamrolled all the maxis. I think it's a very interesting reflection of Bitcoin culture. One of
Yeah.
the funny narratives that I have heard um, from multiple people, which I vehemently disagree with this, but I'm curious on your thoughts, is that they consider Noster an attack on the Bitcoin social ecosystem on Twitter. I'm curious your
I've heard
thoughts on
this.
that.
I've definitely heard this. You know what? Was that something that? No, that's not something Parker said. Parker said it was a distraction. I think, right? I've definitely seen that take a few times, and I totally understand where it's coming from. But can you see what we're doing right now? Like we're literally, Nasser is just like this pure expression of Bitcoin being digitally native internet money, right? We literally are sending it back and forth. We're buying each other's goods and services with it. Like this is strengthening the network, but it has somewhat fractured the discussion. So I see both sides. I don't know. When I got into Bitcoin, I was only on Reddit, and then it kind of felt like it moved to Twitter, and it hasn't fully moved to Nostr. And obviously, there's different little sects of Bitcoin as well. So I don't know. It's really interesting your perspective too, because you guys you're right in between all of it. Like the Nostr side, you are exposed to the ordinal side. You're exposed to the conversation that still happens on Twitter. So, I mean, it's hilarious. I didn't even know ordinals were still a thing because I'm kind of in my little echo chamber online on mostly Nostr. So it's kind of just what happens is maybe even accelerated since Elon took over. Just like social media echo chambers forming in different platforms. I mean, you look at Blue Sky, look at what we're doing on Nostr. Yeah, I wonder if more of that happens.
Yeah, my rebuttal against that narrative is just look at the difference in the brackets. It's funny because the Nostr people have no idea who the people on the Twitter bracket is, and vice versa.
Yeah,
They're in many ways like there's some overlap, but in many ways they're very very different ecosystems and communities of individuals. I think one of the biggest things that people are contending with and don't really seem to understand on Twitter is the way that that how much power the algorithms have over their perspective on things, and how social movements could be made or broken depending on arbitrary decisions that are made, in the Twitter team by that. I forget what that guy's name is. There's this guy that everybody's crashing out on because he's telling
yeah,
Bitcoin
and I've just lost his name too, but he's got Solana in his bio and he works for Twitter. It's literally the opposite of Primal. What's his name? Yeah, whatever his name is.
starts with an N. It's like Nick is
Isn't it?
something.
It's not. I'm thinking Nick Bhatia, but that's a Bitcoiner. It's Nikita Nikita Beer,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going out there and he's telling everybody that they're getting demonetized for their pleb slop and they're crashing out, and I find it pretty entertaining to watch because I just think that Twitter as a monetization strategy is kind of a silly one for individuals interacting with Bitcoin, because I still believe that Bitcoin in a lot of ways is at least the social ecosystem is really kind of a dissident movement. It's a dissident idea. And when you are relying on establishment mechanisms in order to make or break your, strategy as a dissident, you're kind of, I don't think it's a very effective strategy at
Well,
all.
there's just like a deep misalignment there that I don't know, maybe we'll grow out of. But I get it too, because like you got to be there. And social media is so addicting too. Like when you get all those notifications and all the attention, it's like you want that again, and then it just gets reinforced when you hit the algorithm lottery again. And it's like Bitcoiners are supposed to be all about breaking free from all that, I think. And you wonder what's going on with this ordinal stuff, because you can't really verify tweets and the votes, right? It's not transparent, is it? Can't see who voted for what.
Not unless you have a government job or work within the Twitter team. No, it's not very transparent. That's been one of the most fascinating aspects of the difference in Maxi Madness is you can go on to Primal or Amethyst and verify the votes and look at them.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. I mean, and then you kind of almost don't even want to vote because it's like, oh, I don't want everybody to know that I voted for this person, and it's kind of weird. Then you see like people voting for themselves, like, oh, that's cringe as hell, in a way, but also kind of funny.
I don't know. I think voting for yourself is fine if you deserve it. Not everybody deserves it. I guess it's like I don't know. Some people are pretty cool, and it's kind of like when you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, and you're proud of yourself. Like then you deserve a vote for yourself on Noster. But if you look in the mirror and you're like, you're filled with insecurity and um, like you're vaping or something, something embarrassing, then probably shouldn't vote for yourself.
I guess that's one way to look at it. I had my mom vote for me. That was kind of cringe, but fun.
Hey, you got a campaign.
You got a
It's like
campaign.
this is the reason why the ordinals people have won. This is the reason why Noah and Rev Hodl are in the finals. Is they went out there and campaigned, and I think it's kind of silly to be mad at democracy. If you don't put the work in. Uh, there's some people that are they feel very entitled. They think that they should win, but they didn't get out there. They didn't meme. They didn't do the groundwork in the group chats. I mean,
That's so true.
like
Got to get out there and meme.
I don't know how much time Noah put into that music video and the production of mixing and recording the song, but it was probably like over 20 hours. And I've seen Rev Hodl be active for years, organizing these meetups and, engaging with the community, and that, seeing him all active. Odell, on the other hand, is really resting on his credentials for this tournament. And it's, to me, like a lot of people are pointing out that Marty Bent didn't even vote for Odell.
Yeah, and he didn't. I don't know if he reposted or said anything about all the shenanigans going down. It was funny watching Callie, the Bitcoin dev, just be like, "Get me out of here," and people still voting for him. That almost worked against him, like wanting to lose. It was like, that made me have to vote for him, try to get him to go through.
That's the reverse psychology has been a very effective strategy in Maxi Madness historically.
Like trying to be too cool for it. Nope, get him through.
Yep. Um. So yeah, it's. I mean, what's your view of the Bitcoin social ecosystem? I know you're in your bubble in Costa Rica. It sounds like things are very very vibrant there. Um. It also sounds like you travel. I assume you were in Austin for the Bitcoin takeover. Is that correct?
I actually got there after that, but I did go to the Bitcoin Commons and got to meet people there. Um, I guess my overall take, yeah, I mean, it's fun. There's so many different groups of people in Bitcoin, and the people that spend their time on Nostr are just a completely different crowd, which is amazing. Um, and what I like about that too is it's like there's this foundation of people that just won't go anywhere. That will stay there, and we need that for in order to keep a network growing, and then eventually get network effects. Um, I also just hung out with these Web5 guys in Austin. Yes, that's still a thing. And meeting them compared to like the whole Bitcoin Commons crowd, there's like a massive disconnect. So talk about all these disconnects. Like there's this kind of Web5 like super cypherpunk movement. There's Nostr. There's like kind of the whatever the Bitcoin group in Austin. There's the Ordinals crowd. So yeah, I mean it's good to see it's still active and growing at least. But it's just hilarious. I thought we were going to be, well, and then by me saying I thought we were going to be like just price wise way higher, more people into it. But it's so funny how even if you've been in for a while, you can still feel the emotions of a market dip and all that market psychology. Like I saw Callie also posted that builders are at an all time low in morale right now, which is kind of bullish,
I think it's super bullish.
right? Yeah, and I could feel it too. Posting about Bitcoin on normal platforms like my Instagram, it gets so much more love and attention when it's going higher, and then not as much. It kind of just doesn't feel cool when the price goes back down. And yeah, it's also interesting to see that the XRP crowd is still alive and very strong, and how yeah, my algorithm used to be more tailored towards that when I first got into the space and started learning about all this stuff, and now I don't see it at all. And then like you watch something for 1 second about XRP and that's all you get, and you look at how much engagement that gets. It's just it's wild how you can just get rabbit holed and confirmation bias online.
Yeah, algos are powerful.
Hmm.
This is why it's important to listen to 40 hours of Bitcoin podcasts a week because you need entropy to understand what's going on in the world. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, those five guys are very very cool. I have visited where you're talking about, and what is fascinating is a lot of the more established Austin Bitcoin crowd has no idea that that even exists.
No idea. And the thing is
I think I lost you, Paul. Uh, well, stand by, folks. Let me message Paul. I lost you. Uh, you froze on me. Hopefully, he's not just hearing me ramble. Okay, lost him. He'll reconnect here in a minute. We got 6 viewers on Zap Stream, guys. Share the stream around if you can. But yeah, to recap this morning, I guess I'll just ramble and recap it. It was a very exciting finish, I woke up, my phone was buzzing. The group chats were a lot, just, I don't know. I probably got like 1,000 messages about the Final Four in those final moments. And it was wild to watch. I mean, people were zapping like crazy. There was over 1 million sats that was sent back and forth between, people voting for Rev Hoddle or Odell. People are putting money on this thing. People genuinely care and are invested in the outcome of Maxi Madness on Noster. And it's just fascinating to watch. But folks, talking about the low morale, I'm going to play a movie trailer real quick for you guys. Bitcoin's Not Dead movie trailer coming out Easter.
You listen to podcasts and believe the last 7 years, and here you are. Explain that to me.
What do you say to people that are offended by your podcast telling them to buy Bitcoin or have fun staying poor?
Well, it's true. I won't deny it.
There's homeless people in the streets. Why would anyone ever believe in a money you can't print to help them? Why would anyone believe in sound money?
Because if you fix the money, you fix the world. Bitcoin fixes this. Why do you hate Bitcoin?
I'm sorry, I don't understand what just happened.
Bitcoin's not dead, it's surely alive. The number will go up, it's only a matter of time. Bitcoin's not dead, it's fixing the world.
Just pure unadulterated slop coming to a movie theater near you for Easter. I wouldn't expect anything less from the Thank God for Bitcoin crowd. We're in the finals on Noster. And this is an unprecedented moment in history, folks, for everybody that has joined us in this. Know that you've been a part of something truly novel and interesting. And you're participating in a time where, the morale is low, people are grumpy, people are giving up. It's just, it's fascinating to watch who's still stuck it out and who's still here. We're a couple hours into the polls being live. We already got 42,000 sats on it. I think people are figuring out their strategies of how to compete in this. I think tomorrow morning there's going to be a lot of zaps going back and forth to determine the outcome. It seems like that's the strategy, is kind of waiting for the last minute to get your votes in, so people don't have the ability to get together and counter. Paul's texting me. He said he lost power. Let me message him back. It's one of the challenges of living in the jungle. If you go down to Costa Rica, the power infrastructure is not the same as it is in the American Empire. It's very different. They just got all these wires going all over the place like haywire. It was kind of windy. You might be able to hear on his mic a little bit. It was kind of windy, so I wonder if the wind impacted the power lines. They're just swinging back and forth. But like they say, the revolution won't have good UX. I mean, that's the other thing that's been really fascinating to watch about Noster is the UX is very different than Twitter. You know, Twitter isn't perfect either. Uh, you know, there's some pain points there, but oh, we got Paul back in.
We're back.
Welcome back. I was
Thanks.
just rambling about how the revolution won't have good UX and Costa Rican power infrastructure is like that.
That was exactly perfect, man. Yep, that's exactly it. But I'm super curious about your take on these Web5 guys. That's kind of where I lost you.
I just really like these you know the small cells of Bitcoin people that are popping up all over the place that are excited, and you know they're doing a lot of it's been I think over a year since I visited them, and I haven't kept in close contact, but it seems like they're very active. Like the last I talked to them, they were building out a podcast studio, which got me excited, and they told me I need to come back, and I plan on going back. um
Go
it,
back. They're set up down there. They've got 3 locations, including the one you've been to, and then they got a more outward-facing one, which I think I'm okay to talk about since they kind of soft launched, called the Sapien Center. They took that over, and it's like the ultimate place. They got the grass-fed meat and the raw milk hook up there, and they got like a place to work out, do ice bath and sauna, and then they got another place, which I'm sure if you go there, you'll hear about.
I didn't know they yeah, I went to the spot, I think they called it the lab. And that was interesting to say
That's
the least.
straight out of a movie, huh?
Oh, it was, yeah, I mean it was about just as Austin as you can get. I walked in, and I don't know, it was just you know the Keep Austin Weird meets the Bitcoin scene. It was you know, if one of the first things that happened was I was handed a non KYC cigarette and shown some like custom branding of a cigarette pack. And I was like, okay, you know, you guys are on the same page as me. This is cool. I didn't know this existed. But yeah, I just, you know, I just showed up there. I actually did a live stream out of there, and, you know, people were like swinging from like hula hoops dangling from
Yep.
the ceiling. And it was just like, you know, I
Straight
can,
out of a movie.
yeah.
I think they need a movie, honestly, like a fiction slash nonfiction movie about what they're trying to build, because they're literally, they're building for when the internet goes down. And based on my understanding, they want to have you run a piece of hardware, a node, and then stick a fat antenna out of it and kind of make a giant mesh network out of Bluetooth nodes. I mean, out of Bitcoin nodes.
Okay.
And then this is very rough understanding, but then they'll be routing information and then charging for that information. So that's kind of like one of the incentives they have for it to all work. And yeah, they kind of have a couple places on the ground in Austin for people to learn about it. But what's fascinating about this is that it's all word of mouth. And I went to these guys' kind of like headquarters every day, not the lab, a different one. And they know a lot of interesting people. So yeah, it's really cool. Strange.
Yeah, I think there's all these. This is one of the difficulties of forming any sort of sense of understanding of what reality is. You know, looking through your telephone, is there's a lot of individuals out there that are just not broadcasting all of the interesting things that they're doing. You know, because like when you're
Yeah.
preoccupied with doing cool things, you know, there's oftentimes not an incentive to market it. And so there's all these individuals scattered all around the world that are really, you know, using Bitcoin in interesting ways, listening to 40 hours of Bitcoin podcast, but they're not bragging about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
And but should they be? That's what I think they should be. Maybe not bragging's the right word, but just sharing or contributing to all this. Like, I don't know. I sat on the sidelines for so many years and started shit posting, and it's like now I'm like chief shit poster. It's amazing, and I want to hear all the stories. And be loud on the internet and freaking win, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. Public perception is very important. Um, because it informs people how to behave, and like, there's a subset of individuals that are giving up and not doing anything because they're unaware of all of these cool people that exist out there and interesting things that happen. But I also think there are massive benefits of not being on the radar, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And then, yeah, there's public perception, and that's important about whatever your projects and stuff. But then at the same time, the cool thing about the internet and social media is that there's literally an audience for any of you if you put yourself out there, no matter how quirky, interesting, niche you are, right? There's going to be somebody that's wanting to consume and relate to you and connect.
Absolutely. Um, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is just where you see the Nostr ecosystem going. As a journalist, as a content creator, operating the value for value ecosystem, Nostr was a no brainer for me, and there have been some very frustrating aspects of it, and there have been some very awesome aspects of it. I like the live stream function, with what Kieran has built with Zap.stream, how that's forwarded to Primal. There are all these doodads that exist that broadcast things to clients like Primal. Wave Lake. Oh, I think we lost Paul again. Bummer. I don't have another movie ad to play while we wait for him to come back. All right, well, I'll kind of monologue, I guess, on the things that I like. And you're back.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wave Lake. You stopped at Wave Lake.
Yeah, so the discoverability, between music platform or like hosting platforms like Wave Lake and Fountain is super cool, and the way that shows up on. Oh no. Okay, we officially lost him. I guess it's like one of the downsides of living in Costa Rica is you might not always have the most stable electricity, but at least you have the ability to go surf. We got 7 viewers on Zap.stream, got a couple comments on there. I guess I need to open up my Primal doodad to look and see if there's any messages on there. Looks like we got Noah and Avi in the stream. Thanks for the zap, Noah. Guys, we got some cool stuff coming up in the Nostr ecosystem that the Beagle will be a part of. We've got Las Vegas. Look out for that. You're going to see people spamming and posting about that all over Nostr here pretty soon. If you're not on Nostr, I think it's still. We got Paul coming back in.
Last try.
Last try, yeah.
All right, we'll see how long this hotspot lasts.
Okay, cool.
Let's go.
Well, I was just saying, I really like the interconnectedness between these doodads and Nostr, because it makes it great for discoverability. It's like every time somebody's apps are podcast on Fountain, it does a post on Nostr using their Nostr profile.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's so cool.
Yeah, I love that feature. I mean, And the only way we're gonna win is if there's more cool apps propping up on the ecosystem and just like lifts everything up, right? I mean, an app can come on like Vine will do, and not say anything about Noster, and maybe grow the entire ecosystem. I actually was just with Rabble in Austin. He was there for South by, and he was telling me the story of how some like random niche creator was on Vine and then found her way over to Primal and got a Lightning address and was figuring out zaps and stuff. How bullish is that? And I think it'll just keep being more obvious over time that this is the ecosystem for creators to be at. Well, Bitcoin improves while the revolution will eventually have good UX improves. Um, it's happening. I mean, we've come a long way. We needed the jackening, but Nostr was not ready for it at all, right? And people are still scarred from those early experiences, I think.
What is the jacketing?
The jackening is like when everybody started. Jack posted about Nostr, gave 14 Bitcoin over to Fiat Jeff, and that's when Nostr first got its big wave of attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
And then
jacketing.
shortly after, we actually had the first Nostr conference here in Costa Rica, like literally 5 miles from where I am now.
Yeah. What do you think you know, I think the biggest constraint is platforms, app developers, they need to make money one way or another. And historically, uh, social media esque apps have made money through advertisers. It looks like Primal's monetization, the main monetization strategy that I see is through these premium subscriptions.
So
What are,
far.
yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I don't have a great answer for you. There's a lot more opportunity with money flying all over the place to capture some of that. Like you look at Substack, how they do subscriptions. Nobody does subscriptions too well in Austria. I know Fountain's starting to do subscriptions for podcasts. So there's opportunities there once that UX and everything, especially with Bitcoin, gets figured out. The problem now is, to be completely honest, is like not many people are willing to let go of their Bitcoin. Today, the poll kind of proved that wrong. but And then it just comes down to building a useful app. And Noster's just a social network underneath it. So, I mean, at Primal, we have some ideas. We're quietly building. We're not going anywhere. Then you kind of contrast Primal with like a Blue Sky, and Blue Sky doesn't even have premium subscriptions. Last I checked, I could be wrong. So it was good for us to roll that out early and have that going and start creating some cash flow. But it's definitely going to be a journey to figure out how to monetize. And it's not like we need billions of dollars. Like, Zuck figured out that his best way to advertise was with ads, and now it's just, I mean, you can feel it in the way the app is designed and everything, that he needs to keep pressing on that gas pedal to keep satisfying his shareholders, who he works for, right? So yeah, we'll find out.
yeah, it's a tough battle of knowing how to. I mean, I never expected people to throw so much money down on Maxi Madness. Like that blew my mind.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Now it's like, well, what if you didn't even have a limit? I think you needed the limit though.
Yeah, I agree because I mean, I didn't put a ton of thinking into the strategy, but I thought the limit was good because, or giving a range was good. It's like we put, like in American democracy, there's limits on campaign donations,
Yeah.
and I think we did something very similar, and it worked out. It made it. I think the dynamic in the game theory just made it so much more interesting. But
Definitely.
I think the lesson here is you have to be creative if you're going to get Bitcoin people to give up their sats.
100%. Creative and almost tribal, and Man. And
Well,
hack it. I wonder what these fake accounts that are throwing real sats at you guys were, and how they managed to get past our filters and whatever. I love it. It's also hilarious. The post mortem will be interesting.
yeah, anytime you go to a Noster event, everybody's talking about Web of Trust, and I don't think I've heard very good, clear definitions of what Web of Trust means. But I think in the scenario of Primal, it means you guys have a mechanism to try and decipher who is a real account from who isn't, based on kind of their. Did I say Web of Trust? Yeah. Based on verified real followers. So Twitter has a similar mechanism where they do monetization based on who is a premium subscriber of Twitter, like how many followers you have that are actually premium subscribers. Can you explain a little bit, to people watching, how the Primal Web of Trust works and the importance of mechanisms like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really important being able to like look at block lists and then being able to have some logic to determine who is real. Like, I mean, if if a person's brand new on the app and has no followers, it's going to be tough for them to gain some reputation. I don't know exactly our back end mechanism for how we determine that and what's spam. And then it's also points to how important it is for us not to follow people that we don't know if they're real or not. Like just yesterday, somebody tagged me like, "Hey, Paul, you convinced me to get on Primal. Um, hey, here I am." I was like, "Can you just DM me from another social account so I can see you're real?" Right? But I'm actually not specifically for the polls. I'm not sure exactly what our logic is, and our logic is not the end all be all logic too, right? Every every app in the ecosystem should have their own way to determine what's real, what's not. Some could be more strict. Some could be invite only type relays, and Divine will do it differently than we do, right?
Totally. It's going to be fun to see how people play around, with these different mechanisms, and it all seems very experimental right now. Like we're
Totally.
all operating on the actual frontier of people trying to do things that are actually novel and different. Um, there's not really a whole lot of play. There's not any playbooks on how to properly do it, which is
Absolutely not. And we need more waves of spam and attacks and people being like, "Oh, relays will never scale," and us figuring out how to make it scale, how to make it work. Every attack just makes us stronger. We've had multiple attacks, CSAM and just bots, and we kind of adapt and figure out how to best move forwards, and that it makes us stronger every time. And it's cool too. Like Million has said to me before, and Shadrach back in Austin was just like, the cryptographic web of trust is something that's been theorized for forever, and we have it. It's like we have the tools to be sovereign online now, and that's really exciting.
absolutely. Well, kind of wrapping this up, Paul. I want to hear, how did you feel about your performance in Maxi Madness, and assuming that you get selected by the selection committee next year, how would your strategy be different to try and win it?
Yeah, I mean, I was bummed I got kicked out. It's so funny, like watching this all go down, especially with Sats, and this is my first time in Maxi Madness. Um, yeah, I think I will have to just, in my own personal way. It's also funny watching people in their own personal ways, like shield themselves. Like whether, Yellow makes this AI video I saw this morning, and I had Laura do a fun little video of her actually voting for Efrat, who ended up winning and kicking me out. Uh, yeah, it's fun. I don't know how the strategy is going to be different next year. It's just going to be a spur of the moment and post about it. Do you think we'll do polls next year like this with Sats?
Yeah, I think this worked out pretty well. I think it'd be fun to essentially, do a do-over of exactly what we did, and I think people will be ready and excited. They'll have more coherent strategies. What was fun to watch was just people discussing the game theory of how to participate. And some people had the attitude of, okay, we need to adjust our strategy, and some people had the attitude of, I don't want to put more than 21 sats in, and if I don't win based on my 21 sats, then this is stupid. So it'll be fun to see next year.
Yeah, definitely. Now it'll probably be pretty mature by then too. So
yeah, it seems like Primal's building and cruising. But last question I have for you: who are you voting for, rooting for in the finals?
that's actually super tough. And we're talking Rev Hoddle or Noah. I mean, I really appreciate Noah's like proof of work and absolute dedication to Noster. She shows it on other platforms. I freaking love that. But I love the Elon Razor of the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. I mean, freaking Rev Hoddle has defeated Jack Dorsey and Odell, who are basically Noster's prophets in a way, but he is as well. So I think my 21 sats, probably won't put much more into that, might go to Senor Rev Hoddle.
Either way you vote in the finals, folks, you're voting for a fierce competitor, an awesome individual, an individual that's worthy of your sats and your votes. But yeah, Paul,
You'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show and explaining a little bit of your perspective on Maxi Madness. Like, very, very grateful to the Primal team for making this happen. You got anything else for the audience before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, get out there and vote. Put your energy towards the systems that you want to see succeed, and Pura Vida.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, Paul. Thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.